All right, in the last piece, we went ahead and we made all of our three pieces, the side, the top and bottom, and the middle. All right, in this particular case, we're going to focus on assembly. All right, so the first thing that we're going to go ahead is click on assembly, and we are going to just take a look at what this is. So the clothespin frame, if you'll notice, the sides of it go in front, and all the tops and middles go in back. So with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to place one item. Now in this particular case, let's place the top. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit Insert. We're going to choose the top bottom piece, and I'm going to scroll my mouse wheel up, and I'm just going to go ahead and place one thing right there. Okay, and then once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm also going to right click on it and call it Fixed. And what Fixed does is it basically does not let this move. All right, and that's big. The reason for that is because everything that we want to put around this doesn't need to move. So when I stick it to this piece, then it will not move and it will not adjust. So that's just kind of where we're at. So as I'm looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and insert another piece. In this particular case, I'm going to choose a side. So once I choose a side, I'm going to left click to place. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do what we call a planar mate. Now the planar mate is something that I use. It's very repetitive, but it's also kind of to the point where you're really doing it justice, I would say. So I'm going to go ahead and hit planar mate, and you'll notice that it's asking for mate connectors. Now mate connectors can be pretty much anything. It can be these little corners, it can be surfaces, and it could be ends, it could be edges. That's what we're really going to concentrate on, is edges, ends, and surfaces. Okay. So in order to mate these connectors, we need to choose faces. So I'm going to choose the face of this top piece. You'll notice it glows orange. And I'm going to choose the face of this piece, and it also glows orange. Now, before I do anything else, I want to make sure of that it's actually seated correctly, which means that I have an ability to flip and move this around, which is what we want to do. And the reason for that is you'll notice that this piece right here is inside the other. We don't want that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and flip the axis, and now you'll notice that those two surfaces are stuck together, but they're not inside. We'll go ahead and hit OK. All right. Now, for every piece that you put in, you're going to do 3 planar mates. Okay, so that's the first one. Typically, we want to get the surfaces put together. Now, we're going to actually start mating some edges and ends. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to rotate this around. I'm holding down my right mouse key, and I'm going to go in. I'm going to zoom in by dragging my mouse downwards, and I'm going to click the surface. I'm going to try not to click these little nodules. That's a different reason. I'm just going to click on the surface. Okay, so you'll notice it already added this one, and instead of the end of this piece, I'm actually going to click the outside edge. Okay, and it's going to give me a preview of those two edges or surfaces lining up. Now, because we've already mated in our first planar mate right over here, when I hit OK, it's going to adjust back, and that's pretty big. That's kind of a big deal. Okay. So now I have my pieces. I have 2 planar mates. If I wanted to move this, I can still move it, but only in one direction, because we really haven't done all 3 limitations. So what we are going to do is we're going to mate the top of this to the top of this. So this edge to this end. So again, planar mate, click on the surface, zoom in, don't click on these little centroids. Okay. It's going to give me a preview. Are those 2 surfaces on the same plane? Yes, they are. Check mark. Okay, so now you'll see I have 3 planar mates, and because when I first put this in, this top and bottom, I fixed, okay, just right there, I have now fixed my side piece to that piece. All right, so the sides go in front. So we're going to do that all the way over again on the other side. So I'm going to click aside. I'm going to insert. Okay, I'm going to do this planar mate. I'm going to click on this surface and this surface. I'm going to look at it. Okay, it needs to flip. Check mark. Now I need to do planar mates with edges and ends. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say I want this end to go to this top. Okay, it's being a little funky with me. Zoom in. Okay, are they mated on the same surface? Yes, they are. Boom. And last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and planar mate this surface with this edge, so this end and edge, and boom. Okay. So now, because this is fixed and because I've mated this 3 times each, we are good thus far. All right. Last thing that we need to do is we need to put another bottom on to enclose this out. So I'm going to go ahead and hit insert. I'm going to click the top and bottom. I'm going to click it in there. And we're going to do the same exact thing. Now you may need to finagle this around like just by holding this right mouse key down and rotating it to get angles, and that's fine. Planar mate, zoom in with your mouse button or your mouse wheel. Okay, I'm going to mate these 2 surfaces. Looks like it's inside. I don't want that. I'm going to go ahead and flip it and hit enter. Okay, so now you can see I can still move it, obviously because I haven't mated it 3 times. Planar mate. I want this end or that edge and this end to meet up. Okay. And then last but not least, I'm going to go ahead with this end to the bottom of this edge. So we're setting the frame all the way around. So I'm going to zoom in, click on this piece, and then click on this piece. All right, they're in alignment. Boom. So now we have a full-blown frame that does not move, and that is the goal. So I put in the first one, I fixed it. So for each additional one, I should have 3 planar mates. So 3 times 3 is 9. If you have more than that, we have problems. All right, so that's what we need. So with that being said, I'm going to stop this video. I'm going to continue on the other video. We're going to talk about offset mates for the middle pieces.